Hi and welcome to Pound Zero, my weight loss journey. This video, I'm going to be talking about the Pounce protein balls, which I very recently discovered in my local cafe. But I've also spotted them in Woolworths and other health food place. They're actually starting to pop up in quite a number of places. But before that, I'm going to talk about protein in everyday life. A lot of protein products have in fact been marketed to us as part of a healthy lifestyle, part of a weight loss lifestyle, and trying to work it into our regime quite a lot. And of course the question is now being raised whether we actually need these protein shakes and supplements, or is it just that people who work out more should really be using them, or are they really okay for everyday use? So the typical customer from marketing and product placement is actually the customer who wants the rippled torso that is usually depicted in the various marketing schemes. Is it actually something that regular everyday people can consider? Some sources suggest that the Western market is actually already getting more than enough protein in their diets and don't require the supplements as they're being marketed. Healthy protein intake depends on weight, with a recommended intake figure of 0.8 grams per kilo of weight per day. Age can also be a factor in your recommended protein intake. Over the course of a day, the average man should be eating around 55 grams of protein, while a woman should be eating around 45 grams of protein, according to the British Diabetic Association. So topping up with protein supplements can actually see substantial amounts of extra protein entering somebody's diet, with some shakes offering up to 35 grams per serve. Everybody does need protein in their diet on a daily basis, as it is essential to building body tissues, which are essential for growth and contributes to muscle mass and, of course, bone health. But processing an excess intake can put pressure on the kidneys. Excess animal protein has been linked to kidney stones. Fun fact. And in people with a pre-existing kidney condition, excess protein can accelerate kidney disease, which is pretty nasty. So why has this filtered into suggesting that it's a healthy lifestyle requiring this protein supplement? And what's really behind it? So what is really behind this push that these protein supplements and shakes are part and parcel of a healthy lifestyle? It seems that there is an extreme group of athletes working out in gyms were the pioneers for the supplements and their popularity. The idea was that muscles damaged during intense weight training could be repaired and developed by turning to dried and concentrated whey products, a byproduct of making cheese, and turning it into a drink. These shakes were seen as more efficient and more convenient than having to eat a large amount of high protein food. Of course, in the beginning, only a handful of specialty shops sold the powder, and new customers were actually found by targeting personal trainers. In the early days, it was only really essentially associated with bodybuilding until probably around the late 90s, when a few people outside the high performance athletic community started to hear about these protein supplements. Of course, bodybuilders were then followed by professional athletes, who were then followed by amateur and college athletes, and of course the whole situation starts to snowball. A lot of the trouble today is a lot of the new protein products on the market aren't actually being marketed as protein supplements. They get marketed as breakfast replacement meals or snacks in my case. So I've included below a list of websites that you can go to research protein supplements. Now, personally, I'm not a huge supplement person. I don't use them in my weight loss regime largely at all, and when I do, I don't actually use them as supplements. Of course, you can do your own research and see what you can come up with, but it does seem that unless you are bodybuilder, weightlifter, and really in that competitive field, it's not really necessary for you to take a protein supplement for everyday just general weight loss. That said, I do have my protein snacks, and this is usually for when I have done a relatively intense workout and am absolutely famished at the end of it. A small snack the size of something like this will tide me over until I get to my new meal, and of course protein will give me that longer lasting feeling of fullness over a longer period of time, as would something more fibrous such as fruit. So, of course, do your own research and see what works for you that's not going to blow out your diet or cause you any future health issues. This is, of course, the biggest concern. But as we move on, I am going to crack into these little guys, these Bounce. Well, not all of them, not all at once. That just wouldn't be sensible. So these are marketed as energy balls, not protein, but they do contain protein, and each one contains their own percentage of protein. So we have the peanut, which is 29% protein, cacao mint, or cacao, however you want to pronounce it, is 23.8% protein. And of course we have here the almond, which is 24% protein. They also contain no refined sugar. Most of them are gluten-free, although I do note that the mint one actually says wheat-free, so that would suggest that it might contain something that had a bit of gluten in it. Maybe not ideal for anyone who's celiac. You stick to some of the others. And of course they claim to have nothing artificial in them whatsoever. Reading directly from the website here, which of course I will put a link in the description below. Bounce was founded in 2014. 2014 by Paula and Andy Hannigan, who had a big idea and the balls to invest what little savings they had to bring Bounce into life. Both Paula and Andy have backgrounds in health and fitness, and it was their first foray into the nutritional world. They built the business from the ground up in the early days. They used their garage as a warehouse. I'm glad they weren't cooking in it. And Andy knocked on retailers' door offering to sell his balls, which apparently is a humorous anecdote that is still a running joke. I laugh at everything. Oh, I really should get a handle on that. Together, Paula and Andy are passionate, enthusiastic, love life, and get a kick out of helping people feel good. They live and breathe the Bounce philosophy and continue to grab life, stretching and challenging themselves to see what is possible for themselves and the brand, while contributing as much as they can to the lives of others. Isn't that sweet? So the Bounce brand, obviously being an Aussie brand, don't just do protein snacks or energy snacks. They do also have a shake series. Similar kind of concept, obviously just a lot less chewable. Their philosophy is eat good, feel good, do good. So they do have a number of other flavors other than the three we have here. These are just the ones that were readily accessible to me at the time. I'm going to crack into this cacao mint one. I'm going to actually bring it right up to the screen so you can see what it is. I'm not sure how much this morning. Can we read that? A whole full blend of organic cacao and sunflower seeds. Yeah. At least 23% protein in every ball, nothing artificial. suitable for vegetarians. They have a full list of ingredients on the back of each little packet. Everything I can read and pronounce and understand. No, they say nothing artificial. They're not even getting fancy with their words when they talk about the oils. They use peppermint oil. All right, let's crack into it. All right. Oh. This is what it looks like. It smells rich. So it's like they just got all the ingredients and smushed them up together. A little bit chunky. It really does smell rich though. A lot of chewing. It's very chewy. The flavors aren't terribly overpowering. There's definitely... I'm dropping stuff. It's definitely chocolate. There is definitely mint. Neither of those flavors are strong. You can see the kind of rice crisp on the inside. And it looks a little fudgy. I'm not sure if we're actually getting this. No, it's still a bit fuzzy, isn't it? There we go. Quite pleasant. And it would be quite easy just to, like I said, once I've done an intense workout or gone a fair distance, I may sit in the car while I've got the shakes, chugging down water, just to get me through to dinner or whatever afterwards, when I've clearly gone through quite a bit of energy. So if you need a snack that's just going to tide you over, this is probably not a bad one, and not huge. I probably should have done this before lunch. It doesn't taste as rich as it smells, if that makes sense. Otherwise, I suppose the flavors would be quite overpowering if it was. I'll get this again. Probably handy to have in the bottom of my gym bag, just for those occasions when I do need to have something after, and there's still a little ways to go before my next meal. I'm going to stop eating that so I can finish the video. Yeah, check them out. Link in the description below. Because if you're new and you like what you've seen, don't forget to hit the subscribe before you go. Follow me on Twitter and on Instagram. I throw just interesting stuff up on both of them as much as I can as I go along my weight loss journey. And until next time, be healthy and be good to each other. Bye! Now, a healthy protein intake does depend, and of course the recommended intake figure is 0.8 grams of kilo. What? Quite 0.8 grams of kilo. Yeah, that's English. So, I don't know what the so is. The idea was that muscles damaged during intense weight... You got a good gander at my terrible nail polish too, but it's a work in progress. Although that would be the no refined statement on the back. Oh, she's a genius today. So they do have a super protein formula.